Gridiron Grinder, hut hut hike.
All right, party people. It is Friday night, Gridiron Grinder time. I'm Ryan. With me, as always, my buddy James. Just a couple of dudes hanging out, talking about what's going on in the NFL each week. For tonight's session, we are going to be covering the AFC and NFC East, providing our outlooks, record-wise for the season for each of those teams. And we'll keep going in each of the next weeks. We'll move to the South, the West, and then we'll finish it off with the North. That way, we're saving the Lions for last. And so, with all that being said, how's it going tonight there, James?
It's going good. How's it going with you?
Oh, not too bad, man. It seems like my illness traveled cross country to come and get you.
Yeah, a little different than what you had going on, but still, geez.
Yeah, just not fun either way.
Yeah.
Sick is sick. All right. So, we might as well dive right into it. Let's see how much juice you got to keep going for tonight. So, we did our super early a while back. Now we're in the fine tuning mode, which we can always, make some final changes right before the season starts. But this is kind of like the main deal. In preseason nowadays, I don't think you get as much out of it as you used to, but there can be some nuggets. And like we talked pre-show that Aaron Donald worked out for the Rams. If he comes out of retirement, that obviously boosts the Rams, and people are going to get hurt. People are going to get traded still. Stuff's going to happen. And so, but we're fine tuning, right? And so, my model, just like I did last year, I've got it based off of the Madden team ratings. And those actually were like just released this past week. So it was good timing for me. I went in each game in the schedule grid, basically said, oh, their team ratings this, their team ratings this. I fudged it based on who was home versus away, or whether it was an international game or after a bye week, or if you had, a playoff team and a non-playoff team, from last year. And just sort of like my own way of finagling things. And after I went through the full slate, came up with the records, and that's what I'm going with. It's not as extreme as I've seen it in past years. In past years, we've had some undefeated teams and then some teams that didn't have wins. This one, it's got everybody has at least one loss and everybody has at least one win. And so there's still some extremes, but it's not as crazy as it's been in the past. So how about you, man? Tell me a little bit about the method to your madness.
All right. So I went through, looked at the records, what I've learned, what I, off-season moves, everything that's going on. And I have close to an undefeated team, and I do have a winless team.
Okay.
I do. It's just
the model is the model, man.
It is what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I was playing kind of revamped everything, looked at it. Some teams moved a little bit. Some teams moved a little bit up. Some teams moved a little bit down. Some teams stayed the same. And the more I read about what's going on with some of these teams, is like, wow, I still have them way too fucking low, or I still have them way too fucking high.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no crystal ball, right? But I stopped fighting the model. It's like last year when I had I forget, like a winless team or an undefeated team. It's like, I'm not even going to try and fight it. It's like, if this is what the model spits out, this is what the model spits out, right? And so, you could go in and just like play that, pick a game here or there, and then the next thing you know, it's almost like your methodology is just shot, right? Because you just kind of handpicked a bunch of stuff. And so, but going back, looking at how I did it in the super early to now, I was telling you before the show, no team had more than a 2-game swing. And so I thought that was interesting. Not a huge knee-jerk reaction. And I did that based off of like the final power rankings from last year, and then adjusted for, some of like the off-season moves, like free agency and the draft and whatever else. And so So for it to get that close to where I'm at now, I think was pretty interesting. But of course, all this will change once week one hits.
Yeah, exactly. Once week one hits, it's up in the air. I got to figure out how I'm going to do week one, like the first 3 weeks, figure out how I'm going to do those versus my like model because like after like, one game, 2 games, you're not really going to get good information to go into my model.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's and I'm trying to remember how last year was. I know it was like the year before we were complaining that it was almost like the first month of football is like the new
Hmm.
preseason, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, man, like the teams are just so erratic, and then they finally settle in, and it's exactly like you're saying. You don't want to make some knee jerk reaction with your model based on week one or week two because these guys haven't even settled in yet, man. Some of them haven't even had any like on field action, and so
Yeah, exactly.
with all these starters basically sitting out the preseason, it's just like I don't know. So yeah, I'm with you. It's almost like you gotta hold tight for a few weeks, and then you can start tweaking it from there.
Yeah. Well, it's not as much tweaking it, but like how I'm going to predict the games because like my model is pure statistical analysis.
Mm,
And that's my plan for the season. But how am I going to do like the first like before we get like the good statistics like a couple of games in because like week one you really can throw away the stats. Week two, okay, maybe not as much or discount them or
yeah, can you put a weighting on it? Yeah,
so we'll see. I'll have to sit down and figure that out eventually.
yeah, yeah. And before we jump in, it's funny. I'm just noticing this. I don't know if we covered this when the schedule came out, but for week one, every AFC East team is on the road, and every AFC South team is at home.
Hmm.
It's just funny. It's just funny how that works out. Like, what are the odds of that happening that way?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even think I caught that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. I'm looking at every other division and it's mixed, but those two, that's how the cookie crumbled. So,
Well,
all
also,
right, man.
like when you're mentioning that, like the AFC and the NFC East, Dallas and New York are playing in week one, and um, Washington and Philadelphia are playing at week one, so it has to be mixed. Where
Oh yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like you got the week 18 thing going on in week 1 where
yeah,
the divisions play themselves.
and like in the North, Green Bay and Minnesota are playing in week one, so at least there's going to be you're guaranteed to have one team on the road there, and but
Yeah,
it's
yeah, that's
split.
interesting, right? Because you could almost set it up where you have a version of week 18 in week 1, and then you're guaranteeing that every division has 2 home games and 2 away games,
Yeah,
and so it's like I don't know. I don't know. It's just interesting, because you would think like that's a way that you just everybody starts on an even playing field, you know. And if you got really savvy, maybe you could flip it where, hey, this year you started on the road, next year we're going to start you at home, and of course that's complicated because the teams are going to switch every year. But um, even if it's in the division, that Detroit could play Green Bay this year and then Chicago next year or whatever, so it'd mess it up. But I don't know. I'm just going on a tangent now.
yeah. I don't think we did that deep a dive into the scheduling quirks like we normally do.
Yeah. Well, hey man, let's jump into the AFC East. How about you give me you can do top down, bottom up, side to side, whatever you want to do.
Can't kind of do side to side because what do you want me to start in the middle and go around? Like
Yeah, just jump
uh,
around. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna start at the bottom.
Okay.
I think the Miami Dolphins are going 0-17.
I was wondering if that was your winless team. I got the Jets at the bottom, but yeah, go ahead, man.
They like I think Miami is actively trying to make people say, "What the fuck?"
It seems a little strange, that's for sure.
Like they get rid of all the talent, then they extended what's his? Oh, they just extended a guy like and give him because
Hmm.
like what the fuck are you doing? You get rid of all your talent and then you extend your defensive lineman.
Yeah, it's a weird combination of events.
Yeah. Then I have the Jets. I bumped them up a little bit. I have the Jets going 5-12 now.
Okay.
The more I read about the Jets, the more I'm starting to get excited for them this season, if that can be possible. And
Sure.
by excited, like anything better than last year is a win for
Yeah,
them. And I think this is kind of like a make or break year for Aaron Glenn to show progress. Otherwise, they're going to kick
yeah,
his ass out of there.
I concur.
Then I dropped the Patriots down a little bit. I think I had them at, I forget what I had them at. Let me get the other one open and look. I had them at 13 and 4, and now I have them at 11-6. And
Okay.
they're declining. My hype for the Patriots, I think the Patriots are ripe to be that team that you know how every year there's that team that there's 6 teams every year that were in the playoffs that didn't make it and that weren't in the playoffs and made it
Hmm.
the following year. I think the Patriots are primed for that team not to make the playoffs this year.
I mean, they did have an easy schedule last year. They were able to work it in the playoffs, but they're going to have a much harder schedule this year, and they've had off the field drama already, and so it definitely is setting up to be a letdown. I
Yeah.
do think that their offensive line getting better could change everything, but I think all I'm saying is I think you can make the case either way with the Patriots.
Hmm. And then I have the Bills. I still have them at 14-3. Um, I think they have a fairly easy schedule.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
most of the glancing at their schedule, most of their hard games are at home.
Okay. Yeah, and that's
Like
obviously always a huge boost.
yeah, like they have, but it's a new stadium too, so that might play a factor. And if some of the rules are interesting for the stadium is fucking ridiculous, but like if you're tailgating, you have to be in the stadium by the first drive, and you
Okay.
can't share food. And when tailgating, you can't share food with anybody that's not a friend or family. Like, what the
Hmm.
fuck? But anyways, like they're two of their what I would say is hard games. Houston and the Rams are on the road.
Yeah.
Outside of that, they have Baltimore at home, Kansas City at home. Oh,
Detroit
they're
at
at
home.
Detroit at home. Oh, they're at Denver too. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. Yeah. It's yeah, yeah. And so order wise, I'm similar. Okay. At the top, I got Buffalo. I've got them going 12-5. Let's see. I'll pull up my super early just so I can give you the comparison here real quick. Let me just pull this up. Let's hide those. Let's hide those. And there we go. So I had them at 11 previously. So they got a game bump. Then I've got the Patriots at 9-8, and they lost a game. And so kind of like you, I went the other way with them. After that, it gets real grim. I've got Miami at 4-13 and the Jets at 1-16. And so my super early Miami had 3 wins, so they found another win, and the Jets stayed at 1-16. And so it's tough with the Jets because like my mind wants to believe that they're better than this, right? But like when I go through the schedule, and if I'm relying on the Madden ratings, the schedule just it does not favor them for when they have their soft games. And so the way I do my home field versus away, sort of like fudge of the numbers, it just like works against them. Boom, boom, boom. It's like all the wins that I could see them having. I'm like, oh shit. It just like, you're talking about Buffalo having their hardest games on the road, or I mean, some of their hard games at home. And it's like the Jets they couldn't catch a break with the way it worked out in my model. And I do think that Madden's being too hard on them. I'm kind of surprised. Madden has the Dolphins as a 79 overall team, and they got the Jets at a fucking 74. I mean,
What?
I would have thought for sure those would have been flipped. I would have thought for sure the Dolphins would have been the bottom team. But either way, it is what it is. I'm not going to go crazy about it. It just, you know, and then at the top, Madden has Buffalo at an 88 and the Patriots at an 86. And so like those are two really close teams, but with the Patriots being 3 wins behind the Bills, it goes to show how much the schedule can make a difference, right? And so um, you know, and I'm okay with those ratings for Buffalo and New York, or New England, but I do think the ratings are flipped or somehow messed up for Miami and the Jets.
Hmm.
And the Jets were bad last year. They were really bad last year. But come on, this is worse than last year, and I think they've done enough. Like Aaron Glenn and company, they've had a year to find guys and make moves and do things. I would try to give them a little bit of credit, but whatever is what it is. All right, so I guess we just keep on moving here. Why don't we do our NFC East, my man?
All right. A team, I'll start at the top. I have the Eagles winning the division. I think everybody is sleeping on the Eagles. I actually have them going 15-2.
I like that.
I think the Eagles are a really good team and everyone's underestimating them. They have somewhat of a easier schedule from what I see on it. Like I mean, Rams at home. I'm looking for a hard at San Francisco. They have one hard road game.
Yeah, and you don't even know what San Francisco is going to be like then. With
Yeah,
how hit they get by the injury bug every year.
exactly. Like that shit. They only have one all of their hard games outside of the division are at home. They play Seattle at home. They play the
Yeah,
Rams at home. They play Pittsburgh at home, Indy at home, Houston at home.
yeah, they're a
Like,
team that all that really is going to matter for them is staying healthy and then making a run in the playoffs because the stage is set. It's been set almost every year for them the last like 4 or 5 years. So I'm not surprised you got them that high.
yeah. And then I have another team that I think people are sleeping on, the Giants at 10-7.
Okay,
I bumped them 5 games
nice.
since my way too early, and it's mostly has to do with the fact that I'm just liking what I'm reading, liking what I'm hearing out of out of training camp for the Giants.
Okay,
Then I have Dallas going 7-10. I dropped them 2 games, and that's mostly because of the fact that when you look at Dallas, I think they're setting themselves up for failure.
okay.
We have high expectations, talking all this shit.
Every
I
year
think,
Dallas has high expectations.
yeah, and like I don't see it there. I don't see the talent. I don't see the ability. I don't like Prescott anyway, so
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I thought last year was going to be sort of like a dummy year with Schottenheimer, where it was like, okay, you're bringing him in for a year to sort of reset the team, and then you're going to
Hmm.
fire him because you're going to be horrible. And Schottenheimer actually had them playing sound football, in my opinion. The offense was balanced. They were committed to running the ball. In the defense, you know, had like a nice little bounce back year. And it looked good. It just looked like, hey, give the guy a little bit more of his people to fit his mold, and they could be right back on track. But I hear you. You know, like your feelings on Dallas. Hey, man, I'm not a huge Prescott fan either, man.
Yeah, and then I have the Commanders taking the bottom of the division at 6-11. I had them at 8-9. I just I don't know. I don't know how to judge the Commanders because
Yeah,
like
they're tricky.
I don't I see so much talent there, but I see underachieving the entire like all last year they underachieved. Yeah, blame it on the injuries, but are they really going to bounce back from that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. So Washington was another one of those teams where Madden dropped their rating, and they didn't just do it a little bit, they did it a lot. So last year, Madden preseason had them at an 85. They've got them preseason this year at a fucking 79.
Damn.
And I thought that they were doing good moves with the roster, but man, that is a sharp, sharp decline. And for me, I told you a lot of it. I thought last year was just poor coaching that had them held back. Obviously Jaden Daniels being hurt, that didn't help them at all. But I thought that Dan Quinn, you know, he was just being too aggressive, making just ridiculous calls, and sometimes that those gambles pay off. But last year, a lot of them bit them in the ass, and
Hmm.
so yeah, I'm with you. I don't know where to put them this year, but I'll just start there because I got them at the bottom. I've got them at 4-13, which is where I had them in my super early, and so honestly, that's saying something because my power rankings over the course of the year just slowly drug them down, drug them down, drug them down. I tweaked
Hmm.
it for the off season, and I still had them at 4-13. I'm like right in line with what Madden's doing, and so I'm fine with that. If I go up a notch, I've got the Giants at 6-11. They actually lost two games from where I had them in the super early. I had them at 8-9, and this one this is just pure whatever was going on with Madden because honestly, I like the Giants, and Madden has them at a 78. Let's see, where did I have them in the super early? I had them at an 82 in the super early, and so that's why they were higher. And it's okay. I hope you're right, and I hope that they have a better year than what I've come up with on the Madden ratings. Dallas, I'm right with you. I got Dallas at 7-10, so I shaved two games off of them. And so for Dallas, let's see, Dallas is an 81 on Madden, and they were an 81 on Madden last year. So basically, Madden's saying that Dallas is the same fucking Dallas. And so this is just what the schedule's given them. And then at the top, I've got Philly at 15-2, just like you. My super early had them at 17-0. They got a two-game shave, but 15-2, they are the clear, which we'll get to at the end of the preseason here, but they're the clear number one seed in the NFC North in my model. And I'm with you, man. It's like, I think people are sleeping on them a little bit, maybe because of some of the drama uh, with what's his face Brown. Sorry, I'm trying to hide some cells here. Um, and I'm the opposite. I think that that's going to help them having gotten rid of him. I think it's addition by subtraction because he forced them to modify their play calling
Hmm.
mid-season. And that's the worst thing you want. You never want to cater to one guy. And so I think this year, plus you also had some regression with Saquon last year. Part of that may be play calling, part of that may be because the previous year they ran the wheels off a little bit. But I think that they recommit to Saquon being the focal point of that offense, and then Jalen Hurts and company are the cherry on top. And that is exactly the recipe that fucking won the Super Bowl with them a couple years ago. And so I'm with you. I would not fucking sleep on Philly at all, my man.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think too many, and like even like odds wise, like the top three like in the NFC to win the Super Bowl are all from the NFC West. It's I think it's like the Rams,
Oh yeah.
Seattle, then San Francisco, and then after that, at least last I saw, the Lions and the Eagles were tied at 18-1 to win either win the NFC or win the Super Bowl. I can't remember which one, but it's like seriously, like you
Yeah.
have Philadelphia that low.
Yeah, no, and I get it. The defense fell off a little bit last year. You had offensive dysfunction, but I think the dysfunction is going to be gone. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the defense will bounce back because they just keep stacking the roster every year. Madden has them rated as a 90 overall, which let's see, the only team higher is Denver at 91. So, you know, I don't know. I know Madden's a video game, but we know how good Madden has become over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they do a fucking pretty goddamn good job rating players and rating teams. And they're every week they update it, which means that when they're wrong, they'll admit it and they'll make those changes real quick. But I think their baseline is usually pretty goddamn solid.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, hey, that's easy. We just burned through the AFC, NFC East, and we've got three more to go. But with 3 minutes, we can wind it down, and then if you want to hop back on, we can just chill and take it offline, man.
All right. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah. Let's do that.
All right. For anybody watching, hope you like the show. Nice and quick tonight. Subscribe, power up, tell your friends, whatever. I don't know. And James, I'll catch you later, my man.
All right. Sounds good.
Gridiron Grinder. Hut, hut, hike.